Welcome to another episode of Lunch with the Shark. Join us as we dive deep into discussions about business, accounting, and finance to help you build a business that thrives. Now sit back and have a bite with your host, the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa.
Well, hello. Welcome to a new edition of Lunch with Shark. I am your host, Vidal, the Shark CFO Espinosa, and it's great seeing you today on this November 17th. Damn, we are almost done with November. I can just tell you that it's been a great week here for us. We are almost done packing our house, and we'll be pretty soon, fortunately. And we have no home yet. Yay! If we can't laugh about this situations or this instances, what are we supposed to be doing, right? So it's fun. I hope you guys are having a fun week, that you are actually planning and projecting and doing whatever it needs to be done so you can actually move forward in this type of environment, on this type of economy. The state of California, unfortunately, our governor declared every single county in the state, we went back to purple level, which is the hardest and the strongest and the one with the most regulations and restrictions when it comes to the pandemic. So I don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on, but I don't know what's going to happen. No restaurants are open other than delivery, to go, and or to eat outside, and that's that. Gyms also closed, only outside. Movie theaters also closed. No movie theaters, because unless they play movies outside, drive-ins maybe. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. A couple of pharmaceutical companies claim that they do have a vaccine available already, 95 or 96% effective. They're claiming one of them. Others 90%. Minimum secondary effects and things like that. I don't know if I would put it on, to tell you the truth. It's up to you. It's based on your own belief. I'm not encouraging you to not put it or to put it. It's up to you. You make the decision. I'm not making it for you, and nor I am insinuating that you shouldn't, nor insinuating that you should. Okay? So for people out there that are, I'm pretty sure I'm going to, oh, you shouldn't be saying not to put it. Well, I would not put it at the moment until we get more information, because I don't know if I put something in my body that we don't have that much information on, right? We know firsthand how this virus affects you, as my brother had it. Thank God he got better, and he's back to his normal self. But him being a 40-year male, healthy, he was almost put in a ventilator. So we were not able to see him. So things like that. So now, if it happens to you, your mind changes to a degree as to what can happen, what didn't happen, and so forth and so on, right? But just beware, just keep up, protecting yourself, others. Don't let your guard down, and just follow your instincts, follow your whatever your gut tells you you should do or you shouldn't do. It's up to you. right? If you're going into a public area where they require for you to have that face mask, I call it your muscle because they are treating us like dogs. My mom hates it when I call and I say, "Hey, mom, can you me over my muscle?" She's like, "Oh, you're not a dog." Well, they're treating us like dogs because, tell you the truth, one day they say it works, another day they say it doesn't work, another day they say, "Oh, it might work," another day they say, "Oh, we don't know if it might work." So nobody has the truth in this matter. So just protect yourself, be diligent, follow your gut, follow your instincts, and do whatever is best for you and your family. Period. We have to be selfish at this point and protect ourselves and ours. Okay? Period. That's all there is. So, with that said, let's dive right into today's topic. And as you know, this week we are having communication in your business week. How to communicate, what to communicate, where to communicate, when to communicate. Let me tell you one thing, and this is true, okay? Everything I tell you, it's true story. Even if it's like, holy shit, did it really happen? Yes, yes, believe it, it really happened. So we tend, or I actually tend to speak to all our clients at any given time during a quarterly basis, okay? Regardless, I reach out to them and I try to communicate with them, email, phone, WhatsApp, or that's it. Remember what I said yesterday? Minimum communication methods with the clients reduces your misunderstandings, right? So one of the clients that I speak on a regular basis, and I talk to them on a regular basis, we have enough trust. And I said, hey, you know what, Alex? I said, I would highly appreciate if you were to tell me anything that you would change from our company, our service, and myself. And he said, okay, here it goes. The only thing I would change is the way you communicate with us. He said, what do you mean? You communicate extremely, extremely professional and at a very high level. I'm like, okay. Do you mind explaining more? He says, yes. Bring down the way you communicate with us to a more of a mortal level, to a more colloquial or day-to-day words. And don't assume that whatever you're writing on your emails, we know everything about what you're talking about. That was a very, very good feedback from a friend of ours and clients. And I've taken that into consideration and I've stepped back and I've said, okay, even though we are their external CFOs, even though we are their accountants, even though we are their tax advisors, we should not come to them like that. We should actually come to them at their level, regardless of their level, regardless of their education, regardless of anything like that, because they're not experts in the matter. They're not experts in cash budgeting, projections, taxes, accounting, financial. They're not experts on that. So I said, you know what? None of our clients are experts in that. We preach about that. You shouldn't be experts on this. We are the experts. We are the ones who should be understanding regulations and all that. You shouldn't. So we changed the way we communicate with them without losing our essence without losing who Invictus Advisors is and without losing the professionalism and the knowledge that we have and provide our clients. The only thing we did is we stopped using jargon, or we start using analogy more often. For instance, last week we spoke about asset protections, company and segregating LLC, your responsibility, so forth, so blah. So now instead of saying asset protection, it's like we are creating layers like an onion has. Onions have layers. Woo, 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 woo. So we're creating you an onion for you and your business. Layers. So what we're doing is we're actually not degrading ourselves. What we're doing is communicating with them clear. So anybody that has no training whatsoever understands. But at the same time, we are using in parentheses or relating the actual name of either the procedure, the financial, or anything like that, because as true business owners, as CEOs of your own companies, you must know the terms. You must understand the terms. You should not be speaking in those terms, but at least know them and know the meaning. Okay? So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about communication with clients. 5 pillars of effective client communication. So you want to know how important good communication with clients is? More than 90% of clients spend at least an hour on reporting to each of your clients. Yes, reporting, talking to them, sending them emails, sending them messages. That's a lot. And we are not talking about optimizing or anything like that. It's just communicating with them, right? So the 5 pillars or the 5 basic things that you should have or essential that you should have for your client communication are, first of all, is transparency, empathy, self-awareness, context, and flexibility. Let's look at each of them, okay? Transparency. We'll start with transparency. It's quite simple because it's the most important pillar on this. It's the most important. If you communicate with your client, it's nothing else. It should be transparent. You're always have to tell the client like it is. Never go around the bushes. Never, ever lie to them. Never, ever hide the truth. It doesn't matter whatever you're going to give them, a good or a bad news. Tell them what they need to know and tell them when they need to know it. There's nothing worse, for instance, as a tax advisor, on telling them, giving them, hey, you're not going to pay taxes, your tax return, right? And this is an example. On Friday, a former client of ours reached out to us and they said, hey, you know what? We went with another accountant, but we having problems. We went to another accountant because we wanted the interaction one-on-one on tax preparation. I said, fine, that's fair, right? We don't do that. We don't one-on-one preparation. We actually have all the documents submitted to us by email, and then we prepare documents, send them back, go back and forth. We don't have one-on-one. We can have Zoom conferences, we can have a phone call, but that's pretty much it. She says, "Do you know what? We're getting notices from the IRS in the state of California that we owe them taxes. We already paid the taxes that the tax return said." Well, send me all your documents. We'll review. We'll see what it is. She sent me like 10 notices, right? The tax accountant or the preparer who did this did not communicate truthfully with the client. The tax preparer did not communicate it that only thing determined in their tax return was taxes owed without penalties nor interest. Okay? So they were shocked to know that whatever the amount they paid already did not include any taxes or penalties. I don't want to question the integrity of the other tax preparer, but I assume that they knew that they were just the minimum calculated, determined taxes based on the tax return that they had prepared. Now, it was a shitload of penalties and interest for not filing or not sending taxes on time, right? The taxpayer, it's to blame as well, but the agent, the tax preparer, should have communicated and said, "Hey, we only prepared your tax returns. Here they are, right? And you owe this much. You are going to get a bill for penalties and interest for and this and that." Okay? The importance of transparency is twofold. Primarily, you need to be transparent because you're particularly responsible for the success of somebody else's business. Regardless of the business that you're in, you are responsible for the success of your clients or your clients enjoying the product yet that you are selling to them, right? You can never forget that you're spending someone else's hard-earned money. They deserve to know what it's yielding, and perhaps most important, what is not. Okay? So you're getting this for this, but you're not getting this. Okay? Very important. And secondary, transparency is crucial because it gives you more security in the long run. Bad stuff would always make its way back to the person who's responsible. Like in this case, penalties for late filing, or penalties for not prepaying, or penalties for whatever the reason is. The second one, empathy. There's an amazing saying, "It's always sunny in Philadelphia," in which Dennis asked Mac if he remembers feeling. "Dennis, I have feelings every day of my life," he responded. "Do you?" "Do not have feelings." If anyone has seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you can relate to this. Although nobody should ever aspire to be an always sunny character, if you're going to emulate one of two men featuring in this scene, it should be Mac. Having empathy for your clients, it's one of the most crucial part of being in business. Let me tell you one thing. Whenever I am reviewing a tax return, or preparing a tax return, or creating a tax strategy, I put myself in the shoes of the client. And the Georgia, shoes. Okay? Why? Because if I were to ask an accountant, a tax advisor, to prepare a tax strategy for myself, I would want it for them to give 100% of themselves and give me the best solution possible. I create that tax strategy as if it was my own tax strategy. I actually go to the extent of seeing how comfortable would I be with that strategy. That's empathy. Putting yourself in your client's shoes. Treating your clients the way you would want to be treated in this case. That's empathy. That's a nonverbal communication with your clients. That's delivering 100% of yourself to your clients. That's empathy when it comes to communicating with your clients. Self-awareness. This is probably one of the one that's most lacking in everyday life, at least as far as I can tell. Recently, a woman sitting next to me on the commuter rail spilled some of her oatmeal on my pants. If you're wondering whether she apologized, rest assured that she did not. She didn't even notice that it had happened. Now, that's a lack of self-awareness. So in the context of a client communication, self-awareness means distinguishing and recognizing the roles you each play. This, like being transparent, it's pretty self-forward. Your client runs their business. You or I run their accounting department. That's it. Nothing else. So being self-aware, being self-aware is important. And yes, it's lacking because currently there's no sense of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Currently, there's no accountability. Yeah, that's the word. There's no accountability. There's no clarity. There's no segregation of who assumes what. But if from the get-go, there's no rules to the game, for instance, them running their business, us being their outsourced CFO accounting department, and saying, we will do this, we won't do this. And whatever we're not doing, they lack off. They cannot come and blame us, right? That's self-awareness, accountability. Context. Context is all about framing the challenges or questions you're facing within the bigger picture. This came up on two different instances over the course of a conversation with our client. And I told you from the beginning, my story with Alex. In context, I was being extremely high level to them, and it wasn't until I approached them and I said, hey, please tell me what can we change, how can we improve, that he said, you know what, Vidal, you're up here, bring it down for us. And I actually opened the door for that without them making them feel ignorant, without making them feel that they cannot reach us and say, hey, Vidal, we don't understand, because they want to seem themselves or show themselves as like not good CEOs. That's self-awareness as well. So you see how everything intertwines and interrelates? You have to put everything in context. Also, you need to communicate with your clients the same way you would want to be communicating. Today, had to contact an insurance, okay? And mom was sitting here in the kitchen, and she heard me from 8 a.m. to 9:30. I was actually transferred close to 12 times with 3 calls. Yes, I'm not kidding you. Same insurance company, transferred 6 times with my first call. Then they asked me to call another number. I called that number. I was transferred 4 times. At the 4th transfer, the guy said, you know what, I really want to help you, but I can't. You're going to have to call back and request this other department because I can't transfer you. Call again. That's the 3rd call. So far, transferred twice, right? Until they were able to help me, but by providing me a fax number where I should send the request. What do you think if a client of ours would be handled like that? What do you think you would do if your accountant, your tax advisor, your attorney would do that to you? Imagine your attorney to transfer you 6 times in your first attempt, then tell you to call another office, transfer you 4 times, tell you to call again, transfer you 2 more times until they tell you, hey, you know what? Fax me your request. Do you think that's acceptable for any type of business? Do you think that's acceptable service communication? Forget about customer service. Communication. Do you think that's acceptable? It's lacking everything that we're talking about, right? So you should put everything in context. Flexibility. And that's the 5th and final key to communicating with clients and keep it healthy. Effective manners is your ability to adjust to different personality types. And I've told you since yesterday, have multiple limited communication channels with your clients, right? Each client will have their own preferred method within those limitations. Email, telephone, text, WhatsApp. You have 4 options to communicate with us. 4. You choose. You pick. You select. I'm not going to force you to either one of them, right? But I only communicate with you under those 4 ways. No other. I'm pretty sure it's really flexible, those 4. Those 4. They're pretty flexible. You call me, I answer. You text me, we text you back. You WhatsApp me, I WhatsApp you. If you email me, we'll email you. Now, if you email us, we actually have a notice telling you that we will reply to you within this hours and this many days. If it's urgent, you can call us. Somebody will answer, and somebody will either transfer you to me, transfer you to one of my team members, and help you resolve your issue. That simple. Now, you must be flexible, right? Have multiple options, limited. What do 3-star Michelin restaurants do? They have a very limited menu because they actually specialize and perfected those 5 menu options. That's it. And they even say to you in the menu, they actually tell you, no substitutions. The chef will not accommodate any substitutions other than allergies. That's it. That's it. You only have 5 options in that menu. If you've been to a 3-star Michelin restaurant, your menu is going to be just 1 page. That's it. 2 starters, 3 starters, 2-3 main dishes, 2-3 desserts. Period. Or a tasting menu, which you are not even going to know what the hell you're getting. Right? So, today, if you like to know more about us, okay, like this in LinkedIn. Yes, like this in LinkedIn. Send us messages through LinkedIn. We'll answer. We actually have a LinkedIn for Invictus Advisors USA and a LinkedIn for Invictus Advisors Mexico, and as well as my personal LinkedIn. If you want to be friends in LinkedIn, just search, go to LinkedIn, search for Vidal Espinosa with an S, Vidal Espinosa with an S, both S's, Espinosa, E-S-P-I-N-O-S-A, and send me a friends request, and we'll be friends in LinkedIn. I post a little bit more professional stuff in LinkedIn. You'll probably see a little bit more, less political, less venting, less stuff there than in my Facebook or Instagram. So follow us in LinkedIn. We actually have special information there. As you know, we have different types of communications throughout our social media: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I don't know if I'm missing any, but that's that. And today we're gonna end our show with a quote from a famous novelist, Robert Louis Stevenson. He is the writer of Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. I hope you've read this book. It's a very interesting book. Okay. If you are also on the fiction and not just business, just read this book. But he said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Remember, Tony Robbins talks about this. Remember, we spoke about this already. The cycle of business, it's the same way as the cycle as in Earth. Spring, summer, fall, winter. It's been great seeing you today. I'll see you tomorrow with another Lunch with the Shark. Bon appetit. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Lunch with the Shark. If you would like to set up a consultation with the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa, visit his website www.invictus-advisors.com, and don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.